Those campaigning for war may shed tears if they visit 44 Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna. Babajide Otitoju. The crew at Journalist Hangout yesterday took time to analyze the current situation of some of the wounded soldiers who were at the war front fighting Boko Haram insurgents. I paid rapt attention to the 59-minute show where renowned journalist and analyst Babajide Otitoju went emotional while trying to paint a vivid picture of the ordeal of some of the soldiers who got wounded and bruised at the war front by the enemies. The crew at Journalist Hangout came up with this analysis after the Nigerian Army, in its usual and unusual matter, revealed that about 7,000 soldiers wounded while fighting Boko Haram insurgents have been treated at the 44 Nigerian Army Reference in Kaduna State. The GOC 7 Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General A.A. Otitoju stated this to journalists in a media fairly recently in Maiduguri. The general also asked the remnants of the insurgents to surrender now and embrace peace. Babajide Otitoju, who looked sober, recalled that he had visited the 44 Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna, adding that he couldn't believe his eyes at the level of amputee soldiers he saw in the hospital. He stated that those who are campaigning for war will shed tears if they visit the hospital, adding that war isn't a tea party. I totally agree with Babajide Otitoju, even though I haven't visited the Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna. At least I have seen pictures of badly wounded Nigerian soldiers on social media. Some of them went to the northeast with their 2 legs but came on a wheelchair with none. Some lost their arms, eyes, fingers while defending their fatherland. Even the former Chief of Army Staff General Tukur Buratai was emotional when he visited that military facility in Kaduna to see the degree of injury sustained by some of these soldiers while in the war front. I hope that the Nigerian Army and the government will forever remain grateful to these soldiers and not neglect their families. Most of them are breadwinners, and their current situation have made them incapable of doing anything physically. They are now left at the mercy of the Nigerian Army. For a typical soldier to have gone to war front to fight insurgency and dastardly wounded and sustain a huge injury as it is like this, you know that, or you should agree with me that they would have been kept or paid heavily. And in a nutshell, I believe the Nigerian government, I'm believing that these people that have been injured should be well taken care of. Not just sympathize with them, not just have a pity on them, but take good care of them, because I believe lately most soldiers have been dropping their weapons and saying bye-bye to the Nigerian Army just because of the injustice, and the leaders are not even taking care or taking well care of them. I could remember about over 300 soldiers resigned. It's about last a month or 2 months now, resigned from the army. They said they are no longer interested in the army just because of the injustice, and they are not being well taken care of. That is why they said they want to leave the army and tender their resignation letter. Meanwhile, I don't believe if they have addressed their resignation letter. But for people to die for your country like this, that means they would have helped them or make sure their welfare and their family are being well taken care of. Well, so many people have been reacting. So many people have been of the opinion angry with the federal government, and some are saying it is what they signed for. Somebody says, I didn't see any war threat in calling for secession. The war has been fought already. Divide Nigeria. Everyone is weak and tired of the marriage called Nigeria. because divorce is the answer. Well, Nigeria is not worth dying for, really. So many people have been commenting. I know so many people just want to, defend either Nigeria or defend their own brothers that are soldiers and their families that are soldiers. The clamor for war and secession isn't right and can never move the country forward, but nevertheless, it's not for a single tribe or a single individual to enslave a whole country. Have you heard anything concerning war on the part of agitators, if not referendum? How can someone who went to school, even if his primary school, would not be able to differentiate secession? And when people say that they want to go back to whom they were before the amalgamation in 1914, we ask for referendum or we take it. Like they would say, freedom should be taken. Freedom is not given. You seek for freedom, and if given to you, bless. Nobody wants war. It is bad and wicked government that makes people to be agitating. But instead of the government to give people their constitutional rights attention, they will come up with all types of intimidation, including using of military might against the innocent people. Now, who is the cause of all this avoidable war? We should be sincere with ourselves in this Nigeria if we want peace and progress. Well, this so-called Babajide Otitoju guys formed the habit of talking anyhow. There is no amount of threat or fear that can prevent determined people from resisting injustice. Well, like I said earlier, so many people will be against Otitoju and so many people will be in support of Otitoju just because he said we should be careful about war. Who is Babajide referring to? Is he referring to the north or south? Is he saying that to avoid war, some group should fold their hands for some ethnic group to slaughter them in their own land? He is a journalist. He knows those looking for trouble. If he is afraid to say the truth, he should just keep quiet. Because if you want solution to any problem, you advise the troublemakers to give peace a chance, not just speaking phrase without any meaning. Useless people. So he has not seen the macheted body of Dr. Aborode Okoloyun, 79, Igangan residents, pain of Greenfield student parents, hunger across Nigeria who cannot go to their farms, parents watching their daughters being raped severally. What in the name of God is wrong with their tramadol and shasha infested brain? Lawmakers. Well, according to this person, he says the lawmakers are not being sincere, because if we don't really want war, there should be a good governance from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is why the Igbos are secessioning, just because they have not gotten justice. Like I said earlier, that they have not gotten justice that will make them, secess and seek for division. Well, if government has really done well, there's no way, people will be agitating for secession. That's just it. But nobody prays for war.